Hello, everybody. My name is Chloe, and today I am here with Desiree from Libri Labra. God, I can't talk. To discuss. We're here with our "What If It's Us" by Becky, Albertalli, and Adam Silvera live show. Um, this was the book for December, and I'm really excited to discuss it. Are you excited, Desiree?
Uh,
Oh God.
it's gonna be an interesting conversation.
Yeah. Okay, I've got the chat going. So if anybody has any comments, you can leave them in the chat or tweet us at Once Read Along. It's so weird because I don't normally do live shows with my headphones in. So I'm going to take one out because it sounds really weird, my voice. Okay, I can still hear you.
All right.
Okay. So first we're going to do initial thoughts, like non-spoilery. And then we are going to go into spoilers. Wow, we have 4 viewers already. So then we're going to go into spoilers. So if you don't care about spoilers, then stick around. If you do, I suggest you don't watch this then. So do you want to go ahead and do yours while I tweet everything out?
Sure. So, I have read stuff by Becky Albertalli before. I read The Upside of Unrequited, and I really liked that. I have not read anything by Adam Silvera. Like, I was super excited going into this book. I actually got the arc of it, and I couldn't wait to dive in. And I sort of kind of lost steam in the beginning. I don't know what I was expecting. There was just a few things that seemed a little forced to me in the story, not necessarily with the plot, but the way it was written. And it was just a little bit of a turnoff. So it didn't wow me like I was expecting it to. And that's kind of where my initial thoughts are.
Did you say a star rating? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. Did you want me to say that now? Or did you want to say that for the end?
You can say it now if you want.
A 3. So I enjoyed it. It just didn't wow me.
Well, I just got to put the tweet out. Okay. So I was really excited about this book because I've read all of Adam's books and I've read all of Becky's books. So I knew one was going to be really cute and one was going to destroy me. And I was really excited to go into this book, and I really enjoyed it. I know you said you had started it before and you weren't like impressed by the little bit that you'd read before. But I was still super excited. I love contemporary books. If anybody watches my channel knows, I just love contemporary and I read a lot of contemporary. So I was really excited about this book, and I ended up giving it 5 stars. So I know we're probably going to have a lot of differing opinions on, which is good, on different things. But I just really enjoyed it from like the first page, and I just remember I was sitting in a waiting room while I was reading it, and I wanted to laugh out loud, but I couldn't, and
Right.
I just really enjoyed it. It was super cute to me. So I think now, I said I gave it 5 stars. So I think now we're going to go.
Did you want to share what Kat had said about it, even though she can't join us today?
You have Twitter up?
Yes. Hold on. So Kat was unable to join us today. She's not getting the best internet where she's at. I did have it up. Hold on. And so Kat said that she thought it was okay. She gave it a 3.5. She felt that Arthur, which was one of the main characters, was incredibly annoying sometimes, and that the authors tried to make him awkward and cute, but he just came off as annoying. And she also thought the ending was incredibly underwhelming, and that the authors tried to build up the drama, but it kind of ended up falling flat.
I'm working on like 2 computers real quick, so it looks like I'm not paying attention, but I am.
So that was what Kat had to say about it.
So now we're going to go into spoilery thoughts. So if anybody, wow, we went from 5 viewers to 2 viewers, like nothing. So if you care about spoilers, then now's the time we're going into spoilers. If you don't care, then stick around while we discuss this book. I'd like to start off by saying that I really liked Dylan. I think he was my favorite character.
Okay, and remind me.
Dylan is Ben's
friend. Okay. And he
Coffee
was
guy.
also the one. Yes. Okay.
See,
I was gonna say I think he was the funniest one in the book.
Yeah, I really liked his one-liners. Like the ones that sticks out to me the most is "May the Force be with you, Ron Weasley," and that was the line that I read while I was in the waiting room, and I'm like, I cannot laugh out loud right now, and it was so funny. He definitely had like a ton of one-liners that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think he was a cool best friend.
Go ahead.
So one of the things that I don't know if I should start with the stuff that I really liked or the stuff that I didn't like.
You do
So,
you.
all right, I'll start with the stuff that I really liked. I really liked that something that I read a lot about. And when I'm talking about synchronicity, I just mean that idea of the fact that the universe set things up. The universe led them in a certain direction. The universe was bringing them together as this working force behind everything. And that's not something I've seen a lot of in fiction or in YA or talked a lot about. And even though they didn't give it a name necessarily, those are things that I think about every day in my life. And so I apply the idea of synchronicity to a lot of the things that I do and how I act and how I make decisions. And so I absolutely loved seeing that in the book. I also felt that there was some deeper things happening. The two may tell that Arthur kind of had some anxiety issues, and Dylan had some issues in regards to kind of looking at the world somewhat as a victim in certain areas. Like he didn't really take ownership of a lot of the things that he did. He just kind of let life happen to him. And so I thought those were some very strong things that were happening that weren't necessarily like, exactly pointed out, but it was there and it was noticeable. And so I liked seeing those things. I thought that was pretty cool.
You're going in and out a little bit for me, so if I need you to repeat something, then you know why.
Okay. Do you need me to repeat anything now?
No, not now.
Okay. So the one thing that kind of pulled me out of the story was the pop culture references. I don't think it's so much about how many there were. I think it was just the way they were written. I don't think it was just done well.
Like which ones?
I want to say like all of them. Like anytime there was a pop culture reference, it didn't feel natural and organic. It didn't feel like the characters were really saying those things. Not that any of it is hard to believe, because it's not hard to believe that they would like Hamilton or Harry Potter or Star Wars or any of those things. But the pop culture references just felt to me like the author was like, hey, I'm cool like you. Look, look, look. And he was just kind of culture references. They just didn't flow. And it really wasn't about number at all, because in a book like Ready Player One, there was a bajillion of those. And while I would say there was probably too many in that book, still didn't way that it did in this book. So I don't know.
For me, like the one that really sticks out to me and that I remember the most is Hamilton.
I think that was a Becky one, right?
I'm not sure. Hold on. Who was it that liked Hamilton? Was it Arthur?
It was
or Ben?
Arthur.
Then yeah, that was a Becky thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing I could definitely like tell throughout the book is I know exactly who's writing who. So Adam was Ben and Becky was Arthur. And the only reason I could tell that was just because I've read all of their books before. Like almost all of Becky's books are set in Georgia, and all of Adam's books are set in New York.
Right.
Like that was a big thing that I noticed was like I can tell who's writing which.
I mean, and other people might disagree, but for me, I think pop culture references are cool when you're like, oh my God, was that a reference? Like you kind of ask yourself and you're not 100% sure because it could be or it couldn't be because it's supposed to be like sly. It's supposed to be like, hey, I see you. It's supposed to be like a nod to something, but it felt like they were basically hitting us over the head with the pop culture references and like really blasting them and spelling them out. And it just, at that point, it wasn't cool. It was just trying too hard, I felt like.
I didn't really think so, only because like the only one I really remember is the Hamilton one. What were the other ones?
A bajillion Harry Potter ones.
I like the Harry Potter. May the force be with you, Ron Weasley.
And I mean, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but it's just, they just felt forced. Like I wanted to feel like these characters were really invested in those fandoms, and it just felt like they were like, here's some pop culture references.
For me, I feel like it kind of made it more relatable. Not necessarily just for me, but like I feel like a lot of people can be like, oh, that's something that I know or something that I like. And like it's kind of like one of those things where it's like we see yourselves in a book. Like
right.
that. But yeah, I mean I didn't really have a problem with it, or I didn't notice as much that they felt forced. Oh, excuse me. I wish I had some water before we started. I didn't think this out.
Is Will with us in the chat? Or he's not?
He said he was going to watch, but he hasn't said anything yet. So, Will, if you're watching, you need to say something in the chat. No, because he read this book. Like, he started and finished it before I even started it.
Right. I think you said that he liked it, too.
Mm-hmm. So, he said he was going to, like ask stuff, but we were also helping his sister pack up Christmas decorations before I left. So, he could still be doing that. I really don't know. But, Will, if you're here, you got to say something in the chat. You said you were going to say lots of questions.
So, did you just read it? They have the Wizard War parts were cringy.
What do you mean? Did I just finish it?
No, did you just read it or did you listen to the audiobook too?
Oh, I read it. He listened to the audiobook. I read it. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to the audiobook, and there was a distinction between Arthur and Ben, but sometimes it was just confusing. Like, like I have a hard time following who their friends were.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand, because towards the end, I was starting to be like, wait a minute, who am I? Whose perspective am I reading from? But that was more towards the end of the book. One thing I noticed, like, about reading it, I found this book to be very fast paced. Because like, even though like some of these chapters are really long, like I was flying through this book. So because I started it like 2 weeks before the live show, or 2 weeks before the originally planned live show, to make sure that I had it done in time, because it's like over 400 pages.
I didn't have the physical book, so, but for me, I felt like it dragged. Like I kept picking it up and putting it down, picking it up and putting it down. Yeah, so I felt like it took forever for me to finish it.
I ended up loving it. That's how I felt like the past, like when I tried to read Six of Crows, I didn't want to read. I got like 30 pages in. That's how I felt during that. But this one was like a breeze. I think that's why I was like, I need another contemporary book in my life.
What I liked was kind of seeing into the life of Arthur's parents.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of realistic stuff going on there in regards to the mom working and giving the dad shit for not getting his shit together. And, you know, later on, you can see that Arthur was like, well, when are you guys going to get divorced or whatever? And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I think it was kind of ridiculous that the mom was always giving the dad crap because he can't find a job. But like at the same time, like, you're not in your home state. How do you expect him to like really search for a job when you're miles away from home?
Well, it sounds like he did work where he could work remotely.
Yeah.
So, and then he was kind of like, yeah, but he was kind of, just putzing around with his time. So that was relatable, but I like that they were like, hey, things happen. There's going to be issues. We work them out. I think when you're younger, I think it's very and white and be like, well, if this person makes this mistake, then I'm never talking to them again. And I don't think like real life works like that. I think as human beings, we mess up, we make mistakes, we say things we don't mean, we love people, maybe we shouldn't. A lot of things happen, but
yeah,
you work it out.
I really liked seeing how both Ben's parents and Arthur's parents interacted together, because like, well, they were having like a family dinner like 2 weeks into this whole thing. So I thought that was very interesting because they're very different. And it's almost like the contrasts coming together.
But if I remember correctly, they got along like really well. It was like a nice dinner. Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't know what else I got here.
I don't, unless I missed it, but I don't feel like I got as much of Ben's parents as Arthur's parents.
I don't think we did either. I think we were introduced to Arthur's parents earlier on and Ben's parents later on. So we didn't get as much of both. You know what I mean? Excuse me, I had something, I just lost it. So go ahead.
They were really supportive toward, and his mom and dad were like together, or their relationship, in the same way that I did Arthur's parents.
What did you think about the whole Haven? Haven, is that the name? Hayden. Hayden meeting up with Ben outside the school, and like,
you mean
Arthur,
Hudson?
like having a whole like shit fest.
Are you talking about Hudson?
Hudson, that's it. Wait, was there a Hayden character?
I didn't think there was.
That might be in the other book I was reading. I can't remember.
I'm trying to think of the scene that you're talking about. I think he just decided to hang out with Hudson for like no reason, really. Is that what happened? And then Arthur found out.
I thought that Ben was trying to I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, they were Hudson wanted to like calm everything down, like smooth everything out, like clear the air. That's it. Clear the air. And it just happened at like a poor time.
Right. I mean, I feel like Arthur was a bit of a drama queen. And I think part of that was just him having anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah, that he was constantly just questioning things and, oh my God, this must be the end of the world. You know, the sky is falling, kind of. So I think he overreacted a bit there.
Yeah. I feel like not necessarily in Becky's books, but like in Adam's books, more specifically in More Happy Than Not, I would compare that main character a lot to Arthur as far as like anxiety and stuff like that is concerned. I think they were very similar. And I know you said you haven't read Adam's books, right?
No.
So yeah, I think that character is very similar to Arthur, like personality and anxiety wise. But I mean, I'm thinking maybe Adam had some input on how that character was. I don't really know, because Becky wrote for Arthur, I think. But just two very similar characters.
Right. There was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, that also, like, about things like that. Like, I know it's like weird territory to be in, but I'm not, like, there's specific people that are like, no, you should never be friends with your exes. And I don't think I'm one of those people. But I feel like the majority of people are definitely like, I could never hang out with my boyfriend's ex, or I could never do that with my whoever's ex, and I just kind of feel like you loved them at some point, so there was obviously something about them that you really cared about. I mean, just because the relationship didn't work out, it doesn't mean that you can't be friends.
I feel like it depends on how it goes down. Like how bad was the breakup? Like that.
I'm sure that plays a role, but like when you think about the book,
Yeah.
in the book, I think Hudson cheated on Ben, right?
Yeah, I think
And
so. I think so.
And I mean, you could write him off. You could just be like, but I mean, you could also forgive the person and get over it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't.
I think it requires a lot of reflection.
I think Arthur should maybe not like jump to us on that one scene, but I mean, it is what it is. What did you think?
How old were they? Oh, I kind of lost you a little bit.
Oh, I said, what did you think about the ending?
I don't mind that they didn't stay together. Like, that's fine, I guess. And it sounded like they really cared about each other still, and maybe things were open for them later on down the line.
Yes, I agree.
Which is fine. Like, I don't know. I guess if that works for them. I don't know. I thought it was a little strange just because Arthur was away dating other people and then talking to Ben about it. And I know that's possible and people do that, but I don't know. I guess I probably wouldn't do that if I thought there was still a chance with that person. I wouldn't be telling them about somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe the whole moral of the story was that you definitely what?
You cut in a little bit.
I think the whole moral of the story was basically like, even if you're destined to be in each other's lives, it may not be exactly how you expect.
Yeah. I mean, there was definitely like the whole thing stuff in this. Because like Ben didn't really believe in it until towards the end.
Right.
Oh, what was I gonna say? I'll come back to it. I'll think about it again.
I know that Ben was writing often, but did he end up getting it published at the end? I don't remember.
He put it on like a
Wattpad or something, yeah.
And it got really popular on there. But that's it. I definitely think this ending was like it was a good combination of like a Becky ending and an Adam ending. Because like it was very bittersweet. And the bitter part is Adam and the sweet part is Becky. that was definitely like a combo for both of them. Excuse me.
Not about it. Oh, so I remember when I was reading the part about Wattpad, I was like, this isn't going to translate well. Like, websites come and go. So what happens when, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years from now, Wattpad doesn't exist? People are like, what the hell's Wattpad? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I mean,
I guess that could happen with like any site, books that mention Tinder and things.
What else we got here?
Will, what were your thoughts besides the Wizard War being cringy?
At least, here's the thing. At least I know if I ever run into a situation where I need to find a co-host fast, Will can hop in on this thing. He has been like on top of it, reading.
It was very contemporary.
But a contemporary is like something so real is so refreshing after reading like a million like fantasies or whatnot. Oh, they were on a break. like Rachel and Ross, we were on a break.
That's funny.
They were so annoying. Which point? What do you mean by which pointed out to young readers? I don't know what you mean by that.
Like, and talking about the subway and stuff like that.
That they should rationalize breakups? Are you saying that they shouldn't have been on a break, that they're just like, they broke up? Like, that's what it should be? Like, staring intently at my phone, like, what do you mean, sir?
I'm so glad I'm not a teenager. That's tough, muddy water to wade through.
You went completely out until you said muddy water.
Oh, I said that's tough, muddy water to wade through as a teenager. Just trying to figure out relationships without fucking them up.
So instead of pissing off their friends and causing more, okay, but now they're all friends again. So like everything got worked out.
Is that the sweet part?
I mean, I guess the nice part is that Arthur and Ben found like a happy medium or something where they're like best friends or whatever. So they found like a middle ground. The bitter part is that they weren't together. Like I think
Together, right?
Yeah. But there was like a middle ground.
But that's cool that they all got together.
Yeah, so like they're all friends now. It's fine.
I'd like to see more of that in books. Like
friendship.
People apologizing to each other and working it out.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Will says, if Dylan didn't experience his panic attack, do you think the ending would have been different? Maybe slightly. I feel like they still would have found a way to be together. Or like apologize and stuff like that.
Remind me what triggered his panic attack?
I don't remember.
Did it have something to do with Sam? I don't know.
I think Sam was there. Will, do you remember what it was? Maybe he remembers. I can't remember. It's like I'm like totally blanking too. Well, I guess we'll never know.
Well, I'm glad that coffee probably.
Yeah, coffee.
I'm glad that Arthur was able to say, no, I'm sorry, it was Ben. Ben and Dylan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ben was able to tell him, hey, Dylan's not feeling well, I need to be there.
Uh-huh.
And kind of get that support.
Yeah. I keep yawning. I cannot stop yawning. All right, what else we got?
Anxiety.
What was that?
I said coffee doesn't help anxiety.
Oh. What else do we got? I feel like we're hitting like that half-hour mark where we normally start to slow down.
Yeah, I would say I just, I didn't feel like there was a ton of stuff to say about it. It wasn't too deep. I do want to know what Will thought about the pop culture references besides the Will, did you find the pop culture references to be somewhat forced, or did they feel organic to you?
Let's see what he says. Well, while we wait for his response, do we want to like go ahead and start into final thoughts, or do you have anything else you want to touch on?
What did you think about and I'm far
Teens are into pop culture.
I love pop culture references too, but they just felt forced, I thought. What did you think been talked and joked with each other? I'm far from a prude, but I know there were a few areas that I was like, really?
I need you to go back and say it again. It cut out.
I said I'm far from a prude, but I know there were a few spots where they were joking with each other. It was just I didn't care for it.
What was the question though? What did I think of what?
How did you feel about it? Did it affect you? Did it bother you? Do you even remember it?
I mean, I think some things were trying to be kept like lighthearted, because I think that this is a very lighthearted book. But I didn't remember some things.
Okay, so Hamilton and Harry Potter. A majority of the teens I work with are not into those things as much as 20 to 30-year-olds, which the authors are, and the authors were writing for themselves and maybe their friends.
I mean, hey, it's their book. They can do what they want.
So the question is, like, I mean, you giving it a 5, obviously you would recommend it to other people. I would say.
I just also really love contemporary, and I don't know if that makes me biased or not, but there's contemporaries I don't like, but I really like this, and I like Becky and Adam on their own as well. But like knowing that I like their work beforehand made me really excited for this book, and I knew I was going to like it.
Right. There are other people that, like, because I've read reviews, and some people said that Becky and Adam got really excited about working together and making a book together. And so that's what the majority of the hype was, but that it wasn't either of their best work. And
I mean, I think
I haven't read enough of both of them to kind of say whether or not it was their best work. I just know that I really liked the one Becky book that I read, and I didn't really like this one as much.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would love to like talk to, I guess, younger readers in regards to how younger readers felt about it. Because I know this wasn't written for me, A, because I'm not gay, and B, because it's not my age either. But
you can be whatever age you want to read any book you want.
I do.
You want to read a board book? Go get a board book and read it.
I do like contemporary though, so I don't think that was the issue at all.
I mean, is there ever a Colleen Hoover book that you don't like?
I have not come across one yet.
Mm-hmm. I just bought a Colleen Hoover book, so.
Did you? What'd you get?
Confess. It's on my book outlet order. It's not here yet.
Book outlet.
Well, I was trying to because they had the sale thing, so I was like, okay, I want enough to get the sale. Yeah, so I was like, I want enough to get the sale price, but I also had to have enough to get free shipping. It was hard.
You're gonna have to tell me what you got, because I also made the mistake of making a purchase for that.
Girl, what you saying about you have no money though, and then you made a purchase?
I got a bonus, and I was like, ooh,
Christmas bonus.
So.
Okay, so do we want to go into final thoughts?
I think we can go into final thoughts. So I don't think I would recommend this to people. Not because it was bad, just because I wasn't hyped enough about it to be like, oh my god, you have to read this. Maybe if I come across somebody that's like, oh, I like contemporary and something light-ish, then maybe, but I'd probably end up recommending, one of their other books before this one. So I gave it a 3. The reading it was fine. It's just not something that I'll go back and think about or recommend.
I think, Alana gave this to me for Christmas, and I think she said she finished it, and I think she liked it, and I know Teresa also liked it. So Alana from Awkward Book Nerd and Teresa from Just Bookish Things, they both enjoyed it, I think. And I think they know my reading tastes really well because I'm like all about that contemporary.
Right.
But I give it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I hope other people enjoy it. I know they're like when it was coming out, like everybody was so excited for it. Even when it was announced, like it was so good. I liked it. Yeah, 5 stars. I would definitely recommend it to like contemporary lovers, like myself. Like Pucks and Paperbacks. Alyssa from Pucks and Paperbacks loves contemporary. I'd recommend it to her if she hasn't already read it.
So I wish Kat had been here because I know she and I were kind of close to being on the same page. So
yeah,
I would have loved to get more of her feedback, but
so that's basically it. Do you have anything else to add?
no, I don't think so.
So then I will go into the January book. We're going into 2019. Holy crap. And the January book for Once Upon a Really Long is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nagan. This is fantasy apparently. And I have been so intrigued by this. Like I didn't care before, like it wasn't really on my radar. And then I watched the Books and Lala video where she had an arc of this, and I was like, that sounds interesting. So I'm definitely intrigued by this book. And our live show is going to be on Sunday, January 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. I think the thing that really sold me for this is remember when we were at the YA SmackDown and the British lady was there, and I looked at John and I'm like, who is that? And he goes, that's Natasha Nagan. And I'm like, that's the Girls of Paper and Fire person?
Yep.
She's British? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I had been hearing a lot of the hype around the book, but after I saw her on the panel with James Patterson, I was like, I have to get this now.
Yeah, this is a James Patterson Presents as well. So So we shall see. I'm very intrigued. I think I'm probably going to read one of my arcs first, and then I'll pick this up. I don't know how long it's going to take me. So yeah, if you're still here, thank you for watching. If you're watching after this is uploaded on YouTube, thank you for watching. And hopefully we'll see you guys next month for Girls of Paper and Fire. I'm very excited to try this one out, especially because I read fantasy, but I don't read like a ton of fantasy. So I'm definitely intrigued by this one. I think this is the start of a series, right? I think so.
I was not.
Okay.
That was weird.
Natasha is a yoga teacher. All right. Okay, well, I'm excited for this one. Hopefully you guys will join us Sunday, January 27th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you guys for joining us for the What If It's Us live show. I hope you guys enjoyed this book. And we will see you guys next month. Bye.